Hello, everybody. According to the official timekeeping system of the United States of America, my almost paid off Verizon cell phone. It's exactly 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Mountain, 7 o'clock Pacific. And if you're listening to us from the great states of Hawaii or Alaska, it's a wee bit earlier there. I have almost recovered from my trip to Israel and Greece. Not yet, but I am getting there. 1 second, folks. Seems like I've got a little bit of some congestion up there. Anyway, this Social Security Open Forum is brought to you by the National Social Security Advisor Certificate Program. Want to remind everybody that we do have some programs coming up in Kansas City on August 29th and also Cincinnati on September 6th. We'll love to see you there. Returning advisors can attend for $500. Just use the discount code returning, and other advisors can also receive a discount too. Let me know. The discount is already on our website, so I really don't need to give it to you now. Anyway, thanks so much for joining us. Excited to have another open forum. So you know the drill. Raise your hand and we'll get to you a little quicker than everybody else. And because you'll step up to the front of the line. If not, I will just kind of go through Hollywood squares. I guess I should call this NSSA squares, and we'll see how things develop. But before we do that, Jim, I want to ask you a question. We've got that blog from the Social Security Administration about doing something different with your, what do you call it, with your online account, registering under what, government login.gov or ID.me. Please
Yep.
explain that to me, what's going on.
Well, originally when you signed up, what you answered all their questions, you created a username and password, and that's what you used to log in. Starting, I think it was in 2021, anybody new creating an account had to do so through login.gov or ID.me. So you had to create an account on one of those platforms, and then you would create your account through them. Well, they're forcing everybody to do that now. So all the folks that created their account prior to September of 2021 who were using your username and password, you have to switch over to either ID.me or login.gov. So it's just changing how you log in. Your username will be your email address, and then whatever your password is you create for login.gov or ID.me will be your login password. And again, they'll still send you the third what do they call it? The third level of security. They'll either email or text you. I'm not sure if you have both options, but the 6-number code to put in to prove you are you.
Yeah, and like I indicated once before, and I think maybe on our last update webinar, I did go through that process to set up the account with login.gov, and I was supposed to receive an email. Never did receive it to continue the process. So I need to continue it again, and we'll just see what happens. Has anyone had any issues with that transformation to login.gov or ID.me? Go ahead now. You can unmute yourself and let me know what your thoughts are on that process.
Yeah, all government platforms are going to that. I have an account with OPM, and they've gone to that. I have a little bit of trouble with that one because it never seems to recognize my password. So it always makes me change it. I change it to the one I always use, and it doesn't complain. Hey, you used this the last time, so then it works again. So I don't know. I guess it's okay.
All right. Marsha, you unmuted yourself. Go for it.
Yeah, so I have an interesting situation with that. I have a bookkeeper who runs the books for my business, and I know we've changed to login. She changed to the login.me or whatever.gov, and we have the business set up there, but I think it's also going to be my personal way in because I use, my regular email. I've already used it for the business, but now I still need it. So I've been dragging my heels before I've given that a try. So I'm not really looking forward to it.
Thank you, Marcia. Just another account to be hacked. That's the way I look at it. Jeez. I don't need more accounts that can be hacked. That's for sure. Okay, I'll start. I'm get on with that for now with admitting people, nobody else in the waiting room. All right, so we'll just kind of get things going. Thank you, Marcia. I appreciate it. Let's go to Lynn. Lynn, you're first on the docket today. Go for it. Too much sunshine going on in Lynn's environment. So we'll go to Sue. Sue, oh, never mind, Sue. Lynn, you just unmuted yourself.
I know. I just had to figure out how to do it.
Okay.
I have not had any problems. I've been using that military.gov for a long time. So it just pulled it in from there.
You talking about ID.me maybe?
Maybe it's through ID.me, but it says military.gov.
Okay.
Maybe it just transfers over.
Okay. Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate it. Okay, Sue, I muted you. You're next, Sue.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Now, everyone who's been talking about the login, is it login.gov or login.me, please?
Jim?
Yes, login.gov or ID.me.
ID.me.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can use either platform.
Okay, thank you. I have a scenario, please. Anita, her date of birth is 3/27/58. Full retirement age is 66.8. She had to turn on her Social Security at 62. Her husband, Mark, okay, he's 65 right now. His full retirement age is 67. So here are the scenarios, please. Can Mark collect half of Anita's Social Security at his 65-year age, please?
Yeah, don't forget about deemed filing. So if he's eligible on his own, he has to take his own first. He cannot file as a spouse off of her work record because deemed filing requires him to take his own first. And then if he's eligible, if his PIA is less than half of her PIA, he could draw a spousal boost, but he does have to take his own first.
Now, when you say take his own first, that means just file for your own first, whether you accept it right then and there. Do you have to be on it for so long before you request to be half of spouses or whatever?
No, if you're eligible for a spousal boost, it can begin the same month your own retirement begins. But he would have to file for and receive his own retirement first.
Okay. And should he wait then? Yeah, again, he's going to be hit with a discount if he goes before full retirement age, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Let's say he does that and takes a hit. And then at full retirement age, he's still stuck, is he, in his selection earlier, correct?
Right.
Okay. However, can his wife then, because he's now, no, they're just stuck in that pattern right now, correct?
Yeah. And what happens if he files, regardless of when he files, but if he files at 65 and her PIA is less than half of his, then because she's already receiving, she took her own at 62, she would have to take the spousal boost that she's eligible for at that point. And since she's not full retirement age yet either, her spousal boost would be reduced for age as well.
Okay. So if he waits till full retirement age, okay, then can she file off half of his?
Well, it depends on her age.
Okay.
If she's full retirement age or older, she would file. Now, she only gets the difference between half of his PIA less her PIA. She still wouldn't be at 50% of his because remember, it's a two-part calculation and her part is reduced for age, and that doesn't change.
Right. But either one of them, if they started earlier at their full retirement age, they can stop and then just let it build up 8% of what their PIA is when they started, each of them.
Yeah, they could do that.
Okay, very good then. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Sure.
Thanks, Sue. Dave, you're next, Dave. Dave D.
Yeah, good morning, folks. Just listening in today. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. Marcia, you're next.
All right, I come today with two questions, or one kind of concept and one question. But so I'm
Okay.
going to start with the easy one, tagging on to Sue's question on the spousal benefits. I'm just curious, because they're two different, so assuming the lower earning spouse has her own benefit, then she'll get a top up whenever it's appropriate. Does she get two different checks if she and the other spouse have birthdays that fall in the 3 different Wednesdays? You know, so is her top up attached to his payment?
Well, it's a good government answer. It depends.
Okay.
If their payments come out of the same payment center, then she would just get one check and it would come on what her regular payday is.
Okay.
If it's two separate payment centers, and there's about 7 of them throughout the country, then she could actually receive 2 separate payments. And in that case, she would receive one on based off of her birthday and the other based off of his. But normally that's not the case, but it does occasionally happen.
Okay, thanks. And then my concept question here, I'm getting this question a lot from financial advisors who work with people who have made it big in their careers. And they retire early, like at 55, and they only have 30 or 32 years of earnings. So the question becomes, and they're not interested in claiming, they've got, you know, buckets of money. They're planning to claim at 70. So between 55 and 70, they'll have zeros. But they didn't quite make it to 35 years of earnings. Is there any, and these are high earners, they've been at taxable wage base or higher their entire careers. So if you only have 32 or 33 years, my back of the envelope calculations have been, it doesn't really matter much. They're not losing buckets of Social Security dollars because they almost made it and they're almost at the maximum. Is that, in your experience, the right way to think about this?
Yeah, if you look at it from the perspective that if they just work to replace a 0 year with whatever they earn, they're paying Social Security tax on that. So while it will increase their benefit because you're replacing a 0 year, still the increase isn't generally all that much. And so it's not normally worth their while to do that. They can go on to the calculator on the Social Security website and just do a calculation and throw in a figure that they think they might earn if they wanted to go back to work, and see what the difference would be. But, you know, one thing they can look at just to see what the overall amount's going to be, as you know, when Social Security gives you your estimate on your benefit statement, it assumes you're going to continue to work and earn whatever you earned last year. So just as long as they had earnings last year, they can look at what Social Security is proposing as their benefit at full retirement age versus their disability amount, because that's based on their earnings through last year. And you can just see what that difference is. And that's in their case, you're talking about maximum earners.
Yeah.
That's with maximum earnings, and they can see what the difference is going to be. If it's less earnings, it would be even less than that. So just that might give them a little bit of an idea of what the effect might be.
Okay. Yeah, and I do play around with the socialsecurity.gov calculators. I find them really helpful, you know, directional. I'm sure they're not precise because you won't be precise until you get to your claiming, but I find them to be pretty good, and I will play with them and put it in the years, you know, not just like the current PIA sort of thing. So you look at 1985, you know, through the 90s and the early 00s, and put them in the right year so you get the right or closer wage increase. And I think they, and then I do that exact thing, Jim. I add in the next 2 or 3 or 4 years, whatever. And I'm finding with those maximum earners, it's maybe $100 a month difference.
Yeah, and in their situation, $100 a month is nothing.
Change, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've played with it for lower earners as well, just to see, and that differential gets to be much more significant because you don't start out at the top rate, and maybe you're at, pick a number, $2,000 a month. So now every year you add, you're getting better and more important dollars into your household.
Yeah.
So I find that's what's mattering there. So that's what I've been doing.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
the calculators are pretty good. I like them to play with them.
Yeah.
Like I said, they're not exact, but it gives you an idea.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Marcia. All right, we'll go to Jamie. Hi, Jamie.
Hey, good morning. Just listening this morning. Thank you.
Okay, thank you too. Andrea, you're next.
Hi, Mark and Jim. I'm just
Hi.
listening this morning as well.
Okay, thanks, Andrea. Hello, Lee. What's on your mind today?
Good morning. I'm just listening as well.
Okay, Lee,
Thank
thank you. Aaliyah. Hello, Aaliyah.
Hi, good morning. Just listening.
Okay, thank you, Leah. I'm listening too. Arama, you're next.
Hey, good morning. My question is regarding, excuse me, overpayment. For example, if someone loses their Medicaid, extra help, and they owe Social Security some premiums for Medicare, is that taken as a percentage of their overall Social Security income, or are they withheld for several months until they pay the money they owe back?
Well, yeah, for Medicare, well, it's pretty much the same. They have made some changes. They used to withhold your full check until they got all the money. But now they're saying they're only going to withhold 10% until they get it recovered. Gets a little tricky with Medicare just because they keep wanting to terminate their Medicare because they haven't made their payments. So if they can pay it all at once, it's just a better deal for them. It's less aggravating. But if they can't, they can't, and they will do it. But it should be at the 10% rate.
Okay, thank you. Sarah, you're next, Sarah.
Hey, thank you. Good morning.
Hi.
I just wanted to clarify a point. When it comes to calculating benefits from earnings and when they're indexed for inflation, is it true that they're only indexed for inflation before age 59 and then 60 and after it's just the face value?
Well, not before 59, but it includes age 59.
Oh, okay.
Through
So
age
it includes
59.
59 and under.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay,
Otherwise, you're
perfect.
missing a year. You said before 59 and then age
Yep.
60. So yeah, you got it. It's through
Awesome,
age
thank you.
59. Jim, what would you add to that?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. They index it through the year you attain age 59, and then after that, it's just what you actually earned.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Sure.
thanks for the clarification, Jim. I appreciate it. All right,
Oh,
let's
wait,
see.
I want to tag on to that because I'm confused. They
so
do
am I.
wage inflation up through 59, but then for the COLAs, they
COLAs,
still get
yeah.
applied
Yeah,
all the way
COLAs,
through age 70.
Uh,
Well, actually, all the way through.
yeah, COLA's different though.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, we're
Okay.
talking about indexing for the
For wage.
calculation of Social Security, your wages versus
Okay.
COLA. COLA's different. You get COLA for as long as you're alive, beginning at age 62.
Yeah, and
All right, thank
in
you.
actuality, when you compute somebody's benefit, what they'll do is compute the PIA using the indexing factors. And then if they're past age 62, when you're computing that, you have to add in the cost of living adjustments starting the year they attained age 62 to increase the PIA to bring it up to today. So the indexing goes through age 59. Then the COLAs start being applied at the year you attain age 62.
Okay. David, you're next. David is driving to the moon or
Yes,
the
I
sun
am.
or the sun.
Halfway there. Hey, mine is an Irma question. Do we field any of those there on this call?
It just, we can do our best.
Okay, so Roth conversions are becoming more and more popular, and with that 2-year look back on Irma, assuming some Roth conversions were done, and person is now 68. Roth conversions have been done, and look back says at age 66, they were back to their normal income. Do you know if that builds a case to reverse that penalty?
Only if there was a life-changing event over the past 2 years, like a death, work stoppage, retirement, stuff like that. If there's no life-changing event, then Roth conversion will be added into AGI and will impact IRMA.
Yes, I understand. But because Irma is looking back for 2 years and understanding that they look back for 2 years, now going forward, they look back and all these Roth conversions have been done. Now they're back to their regular income and can prove it. Will that help to eliminate or have Irma taken away?
Jim, I'll let you answer that question, please.
Yeah, they adjust it each year. So, you know, if the Roth conversion was 3 years ago, it's not affecting benefits currently. If they did their Roth conversion, let's just say this is 2024, so they did it in 22 and they're paying more for their Medicare. Now next year rolls around, 2025 gets here. That sounds weird. Now they're looking at 2023 income and they had no Roth conversions in 2023, then IRMA would not apply or it would be less.
So is that some action that the client would have to take, or would
no, it's automatic.
It's going to be done. Oh, even better. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to Mark. Mark, you're next.
I'm just listening and learning.
All right, thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. Few people moved around on my screens. I'm not sure if I missed anybody, but we'll just keep going. Mike, you're next, Mike.
Yes, Yes, I had a quick question. Regarding, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, regarding an income bridge. I have a client that's 5 years older than his wife, and we want to build an income bridge. And you know, obviously you're going to be depleting assets during that bridge time. Is there a certain age where it's more advantageous to deplete those assets for the survivor to get the higher benefit, waiting to age 70 to turn on his higher amount?
Mike, I don't think we'll ever answer a question as to depleting assets. It's just kind of not what we do. Jim, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, that I don't know about, but as far as the survivor benefit is concerned, you know, it is going to be based off of the deceased individual's benefit at the time they passed away. So if they did wait till 70 to begin their benefit, the survivor benefit would be higher. Now, is it worth depleting assets to do that? That's a different story. That's an individual case that we can't get into. But the higher the Social Security, the higher the survivor benefit.
That's what the financial advisor's case is. Talk about, is it better to deplete assets to get a higher Social Security or not? That's kind of what they do.
Right. Well, it's along the lines of which one do you believe in? Do you believe in the market more and grow your assets and or do you believe in the government more to, you know, provide you your guaranteed income?
Agreed. No, Mike, you hit it right on the nose. Exactly right. We just won't really venture into that. Anybody else would like to input? Go for it. Dave. Okay, I'll unmute Dave. Oh, I have to ask to unmute you. There you go. Go ahead, Dave. David.
Yeah, we see that a lot, and it depends how much time they need to start to close that gap before taking income at age 70. Because Social Security is the only one that's going to give you a cost of living increase, we try to defer out as long as possible, but the assets allow it, and it works within planning. I don't know if that helps, but that's what we when I say we, me and part of my team, we look to bridge those, that income to delay. And it could become a little more tax efficient because when they do take Social Security, they can revert back to taking less income that counts towards provisional income. Just 2 cents.
Okay. Thank you, David. Any other thoughts on that issue? Because it's a really good issue. There's no doubt about it. No doubt. Okay. Let's go on to Jim. Jim, you're next.
Hey, good morning, Mark and Jim. Quick question, just going back to the estimated benefit question. Is there a specific age when your benefits no longer are estimated and they become actual? Like at what age do they stop projecting your current compensation out to your PIA age or your FRA?
Well, they can always project it. It's more accurate or it's current if you're 62 or older, because they know what your indexing factors are and they know what your income is up through that point. But if you're going to continue to work and you project earnings into the future, they'll use those projected earnings regardless of your age.
Assuming they hit the top 35, correct?
Well, if you've got 35 years of earnings, they'll look to see, are your projected earnings higher than the lower years used in the calculation? So they will compare it, and it may cause an increase, it may not, because maybe your earnings now are less than the lowest year used in the calculation.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Sure.
I had one additional question, Mark and Jim. I've gotten questions. How did Social Security come up with the $255 death benefit for a surviving spouse? Was there anything specific on that?
Well, technically, Congress came up with that because the lump sum is 3 times the PIA, but they capped it at 255. I don't know why they use that number. I mean, 255 was a lot more in 1979 than it is now, but still, it's in 79, 255 didn't cover funeral expenses either. So I'm not sure that was something Congress came up with.
Okay, that's what I thought. I've just had a number of questions asking why it was so low, and I said, well, everything's low.
Yeah, we blame Congress.
Right. Thank you.
One additional question, please, related to Jim's. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, very good. Let's say someone turns their Social Security on at age 70 and continues to working in that. As Jim was talking about, possibly income going up and you can get a pay increase. If your income goes down because you're older and not working as much, etc., can your Social Security amount go down?
No. It's based on your highest 35 years of earnings. So if your current earnings are lower than the 35 years used in the calculation, your benefit just stays the same, and you pay the Social Security tax on your lower earnings and don't get anything out of it. But they won't lower your earnings because now you're working and your earnings are less.
Okay, thank you.
David, you want to add something?
A gentleman mentioned something just before, and I don't know if this addresses it, but I get it often with the Social Security contributions and still working. Some of the softwares, when that client gives you a date of when they expect to retire, and you have their income, you factor that in, and it will my software uses the 2.4% average cost of living. So it factors in the income that they expect to make along with future cost of living, to give them an idea of what that benefit would be at whatever age is going forward. And I think you all mentioned this is just a projection. It's not 100% accurate, but it comes pretty close, I think.
Okay. Thank you, David. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and that's one thing that the Social Security calculators don't do, is they don't factor in any cost of living adjustment. Some of the private ones will do that.
Let's see. Darlene, you're up next.
Good morning. I don't have any specific questions, but just listening to the conversation, has there been any discussion about eliminating the $255 death benefit? I mean, when we talk about solvency of the Social Security program, to me, it just seems that's not really helping individuals. Is that something that's on the table to try to eliminate?
Well,
I've not seen it in any of the projections. I don't look at them super close, but I do go over, give them the once over. I don't recall seeing where they're talking about eliminating it.
Okay,
no,
just
I haven't
curious.
either. Maybe
That's a
they
good
should, but I
point.
haven't heard it.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything? Okay. Thanks, Darlene. Let's go to Shay. Hi, Shay.
Hey, good morning, y'all. I'm just listening in.
Okay. Thank you, Shay. Natalie, you're next.
Good morning. I'm just listening in this morning. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Adam, you're up. Okay. We'll go to Kay. Hello, Kay.
Good morning. I'm just listening in as well.
Okay. Let's go to Ethan. Hello, Ethan.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, I am just listening as well.
Okay. Alicia, you're next, Alicia.
Also just listening today.
Okay, great. Lee, have I gotten to you, Lee? I wasn't positive. I did. Okay, great. Thank you. Well, we didn't have as many questions today as I thought we might have. So, Jim, what was the last question you might have answered? Oh, Marcia raised her hand. Thank you, Marcia.
Sure. I do have another question, which is about the AGI used to determine Part B premiums. The question came across my desk the other day. If someone is doing the qualified charitable contributions when they're 70 and a half and older, it doesn't, the amount you're directing directly to the charities is not taxable. And it's got a little different box on the 1040. And I have not found a provision, a law in the law where charitable contributions would be added back in.
Yeah, Marcia, I'm not going to answer that
Was that
question.
a tax question?
Yeah, it's a tax question.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about, believe me, but I don't know if that is an AGI issue or not for Irma or
Okay,
anything
would I
else.
look in Social Security law books for that? Or
Yeah, okay. Oh,
like, do we
probably
have a good resource?
it'd be in the regulations, maybe. IRS
Okay.
regulations, I would guess.
Okay. It hasn't been really clear in
Okay.
Pub 590B. I haven't found
Yeah.
it clearly there. Ed Slott says no, it's
Okay.
not counted.
Well, then that
which-
sounds good to
and
me.
He's a good source, but I'm looking for
I'm
an
not gonna.
actual
Yeah,
source.
we never answered. I don't keep up with tax law. You can look at revenue rulings, revenue procedures, the Internal Revenue Code, what other people write, all that good stuff. I don't keep up with that anymore. So whenever there's even an inkling that a question may be related to tax, I say no, thank you. For example, I had somebody that sent me an email through our website. I had 3 questions for Jim. 2 of them were tax related. I said, we're not going to answer those questions for you.
All right.
One had
Thank
to
you.
do with gambling winnings. Oh, thank you. All right, Marcia. Sorry we can't help you on that. Jim,
No, hey, you're always my go-to guy. So no-
okay. No problem. Jim, let's go ahead and award a couple of gift cards and then we'll get back to some questions. All right. 2 numbers between 1 and 24.
9 and 15.
15. Okay. Aaliyah, you're number 9, according to my count. And Jamie. So Jamie and Leah, send me an email to mkiner, Kiner, at mypremierplan.com. And I will send you the $50 gift cards electronically. My son Aaron will send that to your inbox. So Jamie and Aaliyah, send me an email, mkiner at mypremierplan.com. If you do not send me an email, then you probably won't get the gift card. I'm sorry about that, folks. Just my memory's not as strong as Jim's. All right, Jim, let's talk about some of the previous questions you've had. Go for it, guy.
Yeah, it's hard to say. There's so many and they're all over the place.
Yeah.
We've been dealing with some other stuff, kind of caught my attention. I don't know, big one is, we've had some questions recently that involved government pension offset and, windfall, and people tend to mix those up. So just remember that windfall affects somebody's own retirement. So they've worked and earned their 40 credits. They're eligible for a Social Security benefit based off of their own work. Government pension offset applies to spouse, ex-spouse, surviving spouse type benefits. So benefits off of somebody else's work record. Now, what they do when they compute the benefit, you get a little bit of a break, I guess, because if you're eligible for a spousal benefit, you know that it's half of the higher earners PIA less the lower earners PIA. Well, when they subtract the lower earners PIA, they do subtract their WEP PIA if they are subject to WEP. So it helps make the spousal benefit a little bit higher, but then as you all know, with government pension offset, then they subtract from that 2/3 of their government pension, and it's their gross pension before any deductions for taxes, health insurance, whatever else they might have deductions for. And a couple of times we've been asked, well, it's a divorce case, so the ex-spouse is getting half of the government worker's pension. Does that lower the computation either on windfall or government pension offset? And the answer is no. Those types of deductions, even though your pension's cut in half because your ex is getting it, when they compute, say, for government pension offset, it'll be 2/3 of your gross pension before any deductions. That's a court deduction. It's not something else. So it doesn't help with government pension offset.
Jim, talk
Hey,
about
Jim.
lump sum. We get that question all the time. Folks receive lump sum payments from the state or county or local governments. WEP and GPO on that?
Yeah, getting a lump sum, taking your pension in a lump sum doesn't help. What they do is they will take the value of the lump sum at the point where the person takes it. They will look at their age when they took the lump sum, and they have a chart. Basically, the chart is saying their life expectancy is X number of months. And they'll divide that lump sum by whatever that monthly amount is in their chart, and they'll use that as a monthly benefit amount. Even if you're not drawing, you rolled your pension over into an IRA, you're not taking any benefits, you're going to wait till you have to take your minimum withdrawal. They still count it right away. It counts as soon as you roll it over or as soon as you start to take your benefits.
Jim, a
Jim,
big
I had a quick question.
Okay, who's talking?
This is Mike. I had a quick question for Jim.
Okay.
On that WEP, I'm in Ohio, and Ohio is subject to WEP, but from what I understand, Pennsylvania is not subject to WEP if you're like a Pennsylvania state employee. Is that true that there's some states that don't have to worry about the WEP?
Yeah, if the state employees pay Social Security tax on their earnings, then WEP or GPO doesn't apply. Ohio opted out for their public employees. So the teachers, the police, the firemen, the county workers, they don't pay Social Security tax, so they're subject to windfall. But if in Pennsylvania, the state employees pay Social Security tax on their wages, then WEP or GPO doesn't apply. Kind of works that way with the federal government. This example might help. If you were hired before 1984, you're under the old civil service program, you don't pay Social Security tax on your earnings, you pay into the civil service retirement pension. You're subject to WEP or GPO. But if you were hired in 1984 or later, it's a new retirement program. It's called FERS, Federal Employees Retirement System. They pay Social Security tax, so WEP or GPO don't apply to those folks. So it just depends, do you pay Social Security tax on your wages?
Is there a place to find out what states are, opted in that pay Social Security or not?
Usually when I get that question, I just Google the state and go through Google or whatever you use and ask and see what they say. Because it'll usually give you the website for the state that you're looking for their state pension plans, and then you can go into their websites and look.
Or, of course, look at the individual Social Security benefit statement and see if there are any earnings that are not listed under the Social Security column. That's the easiest way to know if somebody's subject to WEP or GPO.
Yeah, one quick way, like with the federal, with civil service, we didn't pay the Social Security tax, but we paid the Medicare tax. So you'll see wages in the Medicare covered wages and zeros in the Social Security covered wages. That's a good indicator too. I think Marcia had something.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that because I've gotten caught on this before. It's not only the state you have to look up, but it's also sometimes the county or the city or whatever locality, because it's different. Maryland, I find, is the most complex because some workers have a combo, some Social Security, some pension, others pension only, but it's based on the county, or if it's the teachers in the county had one collective bargain contract versus the state work or the local workers like you're in your town hall. So it gets really nitty gritty. So is there a resource? No, but you just go to the state, county, town.
You think the people would know, but surprisingly, they don't. So that's the weird part. And in Ohio too, our state teachers, if you're under public teachers, public school teachers, they pay into the state teachers' retirement. If you teach in a private school, you don't. So the private school teachers aren't subject to WEP and GPO normally, where your public school teachers are. So yeah, if you had any hair, you pull it all out. That's what happened to mine.
And
that my kids.
I did read a Google article recently that or maybe I heard something on TV, who knows? There is a bill out there. Somebody's talking about repealing WEP and GPO. So that's out there too. Don't hold your breath, but you can always keep your fingers crossed.
That's right.
Jim, a big question we get is, let's say you've got a husband that was a school teacher, so he's receiving a state pension. Now the wife passes away and she was receiving Social Security benefits. No, I didn't mean to say it that way. The wife is the school teacher. No. Okay. No, the husband's the school teacher. He passes away. And now the wife who was receiving Social Security benefits is now eligible for a, where I say it? I don't think I'm saying it right, Jim.
Well, here, let me help you out.
Go for it. I'm just losing my train of thought.
I worked for Social Security and I'm eligible for a federal pension. So WEP and GPO both apply to me. However, when hopefully not too soon, when I pass away, my wife will receive my federal pension, or at least a portion of it. Will that affect her Social Security? No. She didn't work for the non-covered pension. Through her work, she's eligible for her own Social Security. Well, when I pass away, her Social Security is still higher than my pitiful amount. So she'll stay on her own Social Security, but she'll get the survivor portion of my pension, and she's not subject to WEP or GPO.
So the moral of the story is, if you did not work for the government, you will not be subject to WEP or GPO on any surviving benefit you get. That's really what I meant to say, but I didn't say it very well. Jim, a question here. A wife wants to wait beyond her full retirement age to collect some DRCs. Will that impact any spousal benefits she can get off her spouse?
It will, because what they do, and we don't say this, maybe we should say it a little more often, to calculate the spousal benefit, remember you take the higher earners PIA, divide it in half, you subtract the lower earners PIA plus any delayed retirement credits they had earned. So for every dollar they earn in delayed retirement credits, they will lose $1 in spousal benefits. Now, if the spousal benefit's real low, it might still be worth their while to wait till 70 and get their higher benefit on their own, and that's all they'd get, just their own benefit. But if their own benefit is low enough, and if they wait till 70 and with the DRCs, it's still less than half of their spouse's PIA, less than half of their spouse's PIA, if I said that right, then they gain nothing by waiting till 70. In fact, they just lost that money. So, yeah, I generally will tell spouses, even if you're not eligible for the spousal benefit boost, at least take your own at full retirement age.
Thank you, Jim. I don't think a lot of people know that the spouse benefit boost can be impacted or will be impacted by any DRCs earned by the lower earning spouse. Jim, you still meet with clients, right?
Occasionally.
Occasionally. Don't do as many as you used to do. I do know that. But are lower earning spouses receiving a spousal boost anymore?
I still run across it occasionally, but not near as often as I used to. And if they are eligible for a spousal boost, it's just getting less and less. It's not hundreds of dollars anymore. It's oftentimes it's less than $100. So it's not as important. I mean, it's still important. You want to see what it is. People want to know what their benefits are going to be. But yeah, you're seeing less and less spousal benefits being payable.
Now, Jim, when we first started together back in 2010, what was the percentage of lower earning spouses that were able to receive a spousal boost?
I was probably a good 2/3.
2/3. What is it today?
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's less than 25%, maybe 15%. Let's just say 20%.
All right. And that's due to a couple of reasons. Number one, lower earning spouses compensation have come up. And also there are lower earning spouses using Ben points 1 and 2 usually, maybe even just Ben point 1, who knows. And the lower earning high earning spouses also using Ben point 3, which is 15% versus 90% Ben point 1 and 32% Ben point 2. Marcia, you have a comment?
I do. I actually run into a fair amount because, again, the clients, my advisor clients work with higher income folks, and very often the at-home mom was truly an at-home mom because he was such a big earner. So they went still that traditional route. Sometimes they have their own independent benefit that's small, but they might get $400 or $500 spousal top up. But it's just interesting depending on the group you work with. When I have individual clients, I see almost no spousal boost.
Okay. Thank you, Marcia. Thank you. Appreciate your comments there. It does, like you said, depend on the types of clients that you deal with. I agree.
Yeah, and Shay's asking if anybody's heard anything about doing away with the spousal benefit. I haven't seen that in any of the proposals, and maybe they think it'll work itself out eventually, but I don't know if anybody else has heard anything, but I haven't.
I haven't heard anything about doing away with the spousal boost. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they're going to do away with the $255 lump sum death benefit. They should, but they're not going to. I even heard a provision they want to increase children's benefits. They want to extend those benefits now to, I think, college age, Jim, maybe age 22 also. Is that right?
Yeah, I've seen a couple proposals that are mentioning increasing the benefit for college. So my opinion, just leave it where it's at. But nobody listens to me.
I do, Jim. Jim, let's talk about, yeah, Marcia?
No, I was agreeing with you. It's like, I listened to you, Jim.
Yeah,
I
me-
appreciate you.
Me too.
Well,
Jim, let's
thanks.
talk about filing for benefits online. Now, I know there are 4 benefits you're not able to file for online. You can file for your own benefit online. And if you're looking to receive a spousal benefit and your own, and you're eligible for both at the same time, you can file for that benefit, those benefits online also. But Jim, there are some benefits you're not able to file for online. Number 1 will be children's benefits. You must contact SSA at 800-772-1213. And either they'll take your application over the phone or they'll send you into the local office. That's one. The other one would be surviving spouse benefits. You're not able to file for those benefits online either. The child in care benefit. So if you're looking to receive a child in care benefit because you're taking care of a child under the age of 16 or a disabled adult child that was disabled before age 22, you must file for that benefit online also. And Jim, of course, there's that child in care benefit. Oh, did I just say that? I did say that. You have to do that online by contacting SSA. Oh, the 4th one, that's what I was thinking about. If you're already receiving your benefit and you want to collect off of, you want to add that spousal boost, you need to contact SSA in order to do that also. Jim, thoughts?
Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, technically, and what Mark was talking about with the spouse, if you're already receiving your own, they won't let you file online. Technically, your original application is an application for the spousal benefits, even though it may be a year or 2 down the road before your spouse applies and you become eligible. But with deemed filing, they say you have to file. So Social Security, and they'll still fill out an application and to start your benefits, but you just can't do it online.
Jim, is there any change with going down to the local office unannounced? Or do some of the local offices send you back home to schedule an appointment? So do some of them have computers where you can schedule an appointment online at that office? How does that work now?
Well, technically, you could file at the office. When they tell you to go home and call, they could pull up the appointment calendar and make the appointment themselves. But it depends on the office. Some offices will allow walk-ins, some don't. That changed, used to, all of them did, but when COVID hit, they closed the offices. When they opened it back up, they allow the individual offices to make that decision. And there's no way of knowing without actually walking in and making them tell you.
How about our local offices, Jim, here in Cincinnati? Have you thought of anything going on there?
I know a couple of them allow you to walk in. I haven't really heard anybody having issues with them.
Local office in Evendale, do you think the same?
That one, I believe you can walk into, the one in Evendale. There's
Okay.
one in Hamilton. I'm not sure. I've kind of heard both ways on that one. It might depend on what you're trying to get done or how busy they are, but.
Okay. I think, Jim, there's one way, well, forget it. I'm not sure what the actual question is there. Jim, let's talk about that grace, that monthly earnings test. Can you explain that, please? Because I have received a couple of questions on that recently.
Well, the monthly test applies, first of all, only if you go over the annual amount. They don't care what you earn in a month. If you earn less than $22,320, or the upper amount at full retirement age. What they use that for is for people who've worked, want to start their benefits at some point during the year, but with their work, they've already gone over the yearly amount. And so they'll use that monthly test to allow payments to be received. So if you work half a year and earn $60,000, that may mean that you wouldn't be eligible based on the annual amount. And that's our go-to, the annual amount. So they would then look at the monthly amount, and you can use that monthly amount. Normally you have one opportunity to use it. You can use it in 1 year. And then after that, it goes strictly by the annual amount. There are a few situations where if you use the monthly amount and then your benefits terminate for some reason, and then later on you file for new benefits, you can use the monthly amount a second time. So for instance, if you're drawing a divorced spouse benefit and you remarry, your divorced spouse benefit stops. And then maybe a few years later, your new spouse files for benefits and now you can file on their work record. You'd be able to use that monthly test again, even if you'd used it the first time. So, but normally it's a one-time deal.
That brings up maybe our final question for the day, Jim. You just kind of mentioned it. Oh yeah, divorced spouses. Okay. So we've received over the last few days 2 emails on divorced spouses where somebody's receiving off at X. They're going to get married to somebody else. So the question is, when does the benefit off the X stop? And when can the benefit off the new spouse stop, assuming the new spouse is already receiving a benefit? So Jim, answer that question, please.
Yeah, so if you marry someone, the last month you're eligible for your ex-spousal benefit would be the month before your marriage. Normally, to get a spousal benefit, you have to be married 9 months. But if you were eligible for a benefit that terminated in the month before the month you got married, then there is no waiting period. So someone gets married, their ex-spousal benefits stop. They could begin spousal benefits immediately the month that they get married in. So there's no loss in benefits. But that's only if the benefit is payable right away. If your new spouse isn't eligible for a benefit for 2 months down the road, then you still have the 9-month waiting period.
So Jim, if that's my situation and I get remarried today, August 12th, then my benefit off my ex-spouse will go away this month. Won't receive one off my ex-spouse in August, but I can receive a benefit off my new spouse in August, which will be payable in September, of course, right? Payable in September, for
Right.
which I will, as long as my new spouse is receiving a benefit, I'll get that.
Right.
Okay. Jim, there was a question here in the chat area. Here we go. There we go. There are provisions, Jim, proposals out there that will get rid of the wage cap of 168,000 and change. Jim, what would you say to that?
I think eventually they're going to do something about that. Now, whether it's off of the current proposals or somewhere in the future, I'm pretty sure they're going to raise the full retirement age to 70, and they're going to increase the cap. Either they may do that, they may do like they do for Medicare and just apply it to all wages. There's no longer a cap where you stop paying. We'll have to see where it finally washes out once a law is passed and signed into law by the president. Oftentimes it doesn't look like it did when they first proposed it, but people are talking about it.
Which president, Jim, will sign that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Probably not one we know about because it'll be in the 2030s.
Okay, just trying to see if I can suck you into saying one of the current people. All right, folks. We do have our next open forum is, I believe, 2 weeks from today at 10. And I will do a little more promotion for that one because I'm finally getting back into the swing of things after being gone for 3 weeks. All right, folks, that ends today's open forum. Take care, everybody. Bye.
See you. Bye.
Thank you.